Don't forget to like and subscribe, and share your opinion down below. Am I the idiot for being upset with my sister because she's treating me like her husband? When COVID-19 hit, I, F25, came back home from LA to Houston. My sister, F40, was happy to have me back in town and allowed me to stay at her place for a while. Well, I ended up not renewing my lease and officially moved in with her. It's been a huge transition for me because I was having the time of my life in LA and now, I'm living with my sister who is going through a divorce and has 2 teenagers. I know she's in financial trouble, so I offered to help pay for rent, but she wouldn't take my money. So, I've been trying to pay her back in other ways by helping cleaning and doing things with her kids when she's not around. But she's OCD and likes things a certain way, so she'll constantly point out things that are not up to her standards, and it makes me feel like I'm a bother by being here. Well, a couple months ago, she decided to help my uncle who is sick and moved to California for 3 months to take care of him. So, she left me here with her kids, dogs and house to take care of. She gave me a short list of things to do every day, like get the mail, water the plants, take out the trash. She said for me not to do anything and the kids will take care of everything else, but she never taught her kids how to take care of things. So now I'm having to walk the dogs, cook and clean for the kids and make sure everything is intact while she's gone, since I feel uncomfortable trying to tell her kids what to do. I feel like I'm her husband and I have to pick up the slack while she's gone. Recently, I actually ended up having emergency surgery and I had to lay in bed for a week. When she called me to check up, she asked about her plants and I totally forgot to water them. She acted annoyed and said, "That's all I asked you to do." That triggered me, so I went off on her because I felt she was more concerned about a plant than my health, and not even acknowledging that I basically had to step in as the second parent. She said she never asked me to do anything, but am I just supposed to keep the dogs inside all day and let them poop all over the floor, or let the kids starve, or leave the place a mess? I understand you didn't ask, but if I don't do those things, who will? I feel bad because she's going through a lot with the divorce and my uncle, but I would rather pay rent than stay here for free and have to take care of everything and live up to her standards as a mom. Am I the idiot for going off on her, or should I have taken better care of her plant? Not the idiot. She had no right leaving you there with her kids and pets for months. She sounds selfish and clearly does not care about you or your health. She just enjoys using you as a live-in nanny, pet sitter, and maid. I would move out ASAP and see how she makes it without you. Not the idiot. She isn't taking care of her kids. She should know that she's putting you on it without actually asking to put you on it. Everyone is the idiot. She should have been more concerned about your health rather than her plants. You are living there rent-free. You should be able to get over the fact that you don't like telling her kids what to do and make sure her house is still in order. Not the idiot. She is a parent, so her children should be more of a priority to her than an uncle. She should be at home with her kids and the uncle will need to be cared for by someone else or put in a nursing home. She should not be expecting you to be a mom to her kids. Am I the idiot for lying to my business partner? So, I, M20, have been trying to make and record music for a while, but I can't afford the production software, and so I rely on people I know from high school who happen to produce in their spare time. One of these people, we'll call him Peter, M19, was willing to help me out in making 2 complete songs, but at quite an expensive price. I paid his price, however, because I know that production and recording sessions don't come cheap. From this experience working with Peter, I realized he was really lousy and kinda neglectful with me. He didn't really listen to what I wanted when he was making the instrumentals, and when I asked if we could change something within the instrumentals, he told me, only afterwards, that I could only make 4 changes within each instrumental and thereafter it had cost more money. Peter was really bad at replying to my messages regarding our music. He took days at a time, and at one point we didn't work on the music for 2 months, because he was on holiday at his mom's house. Finally, what really was the final straw, he sent the first completed song, and it was really bad. The vocals were offbeat, they weren't mixed well, and he added things that I specifically asked for him not to add, like too much auto-tune. So, Here's where I may be the idiot. My other friend, James, M19, was back from overseas, and I had worked with him previously on a song, and in retrospect, I had much more fun working with him than I did working with Peter, and James was cheaper. I wanted to send Peter's instrumentals to James, and in order to avoid confronting Peter about how bad it was working with him and that I'm gonna work with someone else, I lied to him and told him I bought my own software, the same as his, and that he must send me the instrumentals so that I could add some stuff of my own to them. In reality, I was gonna send them to James. I messed up though, because he sent me the project files instead of the stems of the instrumentals, and so when I sent those files to James, he couldn't use them, as he had different kind of software. So, I decided to come clean to Peter. I told him I lied to him, I apologized, then told him to send me the stems. I also said I wouldn't ask for my money back, even though we hadn't even completed the second song. Peter was really not mad but disappointed in me. He was going on about how trust is broken and he even terminated our business relationship. Basically, he was pushing this whole narrative that we were great friends in high school and that I gravely betrayed him. I feel bad for lying, but I kinda feel justified for doing so cause of the way he treated me, especially when I paid him, my friend. So, am I the idiot? By the way, it's been a day and I still haven't gotten those stems and I fear he won't send them to me out of spite. You are the idiot. It sounds like you are doing this mostly as a hobby, but I think what you tried to do is technically illegal, at least in the real music world. You can't take someone else's work for your own use. You don't have the rights to it. And you tried to lie to get it, too. I don't think you are the idiot for not wanting to work with Peter. However, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that, but I think you should have just told him the truth, and not tried to steal his work. I didn't steal his work, I already paid for those instrumentals, as well as the recording sessions that were yet to do. You are not the idiot, it sounds like his victimhood is showing. He might think it provides him with a good story, or he might just not want to admit he's not that good to work with. You probably should have been more honest about James being more professional in dealing with you though, as it's something Peter will need to take on board if he wants to be successful. I was once replaced by someone in a work environment. I was upset at first, but when they explained to me his qualifications and experience, and then later I met him, I actually liked him and learned a lot from him. You are the idiot. Contact a lawyer because sending his work to someone else to change and use is illegal and could ruin your chances of any kind of future in the music business if not corrected quickly. You're lucky he didn't take you to court already. Am I the idiot for not talking to my mother after finding out about her diagnosis? I, 21F, have never had a good relationship with my mum. I don't even have any childhood memories of her. As a kid, I was in foster care for a few years and at some point, was able to move back into the care of my dad, who fought for it in court, while my mum was happy to keep me in foster care. Not long after I started living with my dad, she quickly stopped coming to see me and then a few years later, started spreading lies about how my dad controls me and stops me from seeing her. When I argued back, told her that isn't true and it was my decision to not talk to her because she has never put any effort in, she blocked me, and that, being my only way of contacting her, meant I no longer had any way to talk to her at all. A year or so ago, she messaged me saying she was sorry and wanted to be back in my life. I ignored it, because I felt like there wasn't really a relationship to fix, and as far as I was concerned, I don't have a mother in that way, there's just a woman who gave birth to me. The other month, my half-sister messaged my dad to get him to tell me that my mother has been diagnosed with cancer. My dad immediately told me, and said that it was up to me whether I wanted to message her or anything like that. Of course, I was upset to hear about her diagnosis. A few years ago, I'd lost my granddad to it, so I know how hard it can be for the person and the family surrounding them. But, as I mentioned, I have no relationship with her and no connection to her other than childhood trauma, so I decided not to message her because I thought it would be too difficult for me to handle. The last update I'd heard was that it was just stage II and can be operated on. I've not heard anything since, but still feel guilt that I should have tried to get in touch with her. Am I the idiot for not contacting her when I found out? Not the idiot. You are under no obligation to make contact with her about it or anything else. However, if you are feeling guilty, perhaps you could contact the half-sibling and say something like, "Thank you for letting me know, but at the moment I don't think I can have a relationship with her." You could always ask for contact details like phone number for if you ever do want to get in contact, but on your own terms. Not the idiot. Where was she when you needed her? This is a tricky situation though. Would you have any regrets if she doesn't beat cancer and passes away? Def something to bring to a therapist, as you wouldn't want to pile on more to your mental and emotional well-being. Not the idiot. Being sick now doesn't erase the things she's done in the past or entitle her to a relationship with you. You're not obligated to reach out to her. One thing I will suggest is trying to find peace with the situation and deal with any residual feelings you might have about her, so that if the worst should happen you don't have any regrets. Would I be the idiot for emasculating my father? So, for some background, my 19F parents fat shame me a lot. I'm not overweight, but my weight isn't at the best it could be. However, I go to the gym 3 times a week and try to eat healthy. So earlier tonight I was eating a sandwich for dinner when my dad, 66, went, "I thought you were trying to eat healthy? You would be in better shape if you did hot yoga 3 times a week like I do." As someone who struggled a lot with my weight in the past, this really hurt, especially since he said it unprompted. I ended up going to my mom, 52, about it, telling her all the progress I've made at the gym and how much I can lift now, etc. Before I started going, I literally never worked out. Now I go 3 times a week. I said I'm the healthiest I've ever been and she straight up said no, you're not, in a condescending tone, because I haven't lost as much weight as she'd like, but I'm so much stronger and have a lot more endurance now. I came up with an idea then. I invited my mom to the gym so she could try the workouts I do with me. I've worked for almost a year to get where I am now. Hot yoga, which my mom does too, is definitely an intense exercise, but I work out in a completely different way than what my parents do. Anyway, she was down for it, but when I brought up inviting my dad too, she was super against it suddenly. When I asked why, she said he wouldn't be able to keep up with me or lift the same that I do. I get that he hurt your feelings, but he used to be 2 times his current size and can't lift as much as he thinks he can. You don't want to emasculate him by proving his daughter is stronger than he is. I'm like, isn't that kind of the point? Not to hurt him, but to prove that I'm putting in the work so he stops making comments about my body and my lifestyle choices? But she basically said there's no way to win and I should just give up, which in my mind means continue to let him fat shame me. I think I would be the idiot, because if emasculating my father gets him to stop fat shaming me, then so be it. So, would I be the idiot for supposedly emasculating my father? Not the idiot, but the sooner you stop worrying about your parents the better. My mom used to hard fat shame me, even comparing me to pigs and stuff, and it crushed my mental health. At some points I would work my ass off so I could fight back, but in the end, it was about her insecurities. Your father may never change his behavior, so unfortunately, we as children have to drop this approval seeking. I wish all the best for you. Not the idiot. It sounds like your dad is projecting his own issues onto you and your mother has decided to defend her husband over her daughter. You might need to tell him straight up that you're aware he's had weight issues in the past, but he needs to stop putting that on you. And also invite him to the gym. It's up to him whether he goes or not. Not the idiot. Your parents are idiots for constantly commenting about your weight. It's wonderful to want to live a healthy life, and it's awesome that you feel stronger and healthier from your exercise. But their voices suck in this, and I really hope for your sake that you can tune them out. If your family wants to go to the gym with you, so be it. Let them see you kicking ass. Keep rocking it, and you have so much more value than the number on your scale.